This is the first February episode of Beyond the Script, and it is live on Substack today. Today, what we're going to get into is embodying the identity before the reality shifts. And this is something that I've talked about from time to time, but it just felt like a really good time to bring this up again because January is done, February is here, and people who get into the New Year's resolution or, this year is going to be my year, you're either in one of two spaces. You're like, okay, I've built great momentum in January and I'm ready to keep it going for February. Or you're second guessing everything. You're like, I might have been a little bit too ambitious. I might have set some crazy goals and your identity is panicking. Okay. There's also a disclaimer I always give. If that is you, one second, keep in mind things are still getting ready to bloom. Things are still planted, right? Especially if you follow astrology. As we know, Aries season marks the astrological new year, and that is next month. So if things aren't blooming yet, it's just might not be the right season for it, okay? But overall, what I like to see in February is this is where energy shifts a lot. This is where the vision is still there. Like people are like, okay, I still know what I want. I still have the vision for it. I still want to make it happen, whatever it is. But the uncertainty also starts to kind of creep in. The uncertainty of like, is it realistic? Should I adjust it? Does this make sense for me? Maybe this year isn't my year. I've had people say that already. I'm like, the year just started. Chill out. Okay. So a couple things that I want to touch on today too is I'm gonna reference two books that I've read. One is called I Am, and God help me, I cannot remember the author's name. And then the other one is The Power of Now, and that one is by Eckhart Tolle. I hope I'm saying that right. But yeah, those two books I feel really just anchor into the moment that we're in right now and the idea of who we are and how we can maintain the identity of where we're going, of whom we're becoming, right? So in I am, there's a constant emphasis on the power of I am statements. And I used to believe that I am were just like these little positive affirmations, and I wasn't always on board with them until I read this book. So if you look back at my older content, you will hear me say, like, you need more than I am. And while I do believe that, I recognize now the power behind an I am statement. Okay. It goes beyond just positive thinking and, this like, I am wealthy, I am rich. It goes beyond that. And what it is, it's what I call an identity instruction, right? You are instructing your identity on who you are. Every time you say like, I am this, I am something, right? You're telling your subconscious who you are and who is in charge. So when these doubts start to creep in, as they do, and you start to fall into the I am of whatever the doubts are, you're telling your subconscious that that is who you are, right? And the subconscious does not know the difference. The subconscious does not know what is reality and what is not reality because reality is made by us. So whatever is real to your subconscious is just what's real to you, which is why you can reality shift this way. But oh, excuse me. When your life it's not going to respond to your goals, it's going to respond to your self-concept. So going back to the I am, this is why in January there's a collective shift that happens in January, and I find this very interesting, especially as somebody who was always like, "I'm not doing New Year's resolutions." And this is before I knew anything about, like, astrological New Year or anything like that. I was just I would just always come into the New Year and I'd be like, "Why would I have a New Year's resolution? Like, I just wanna do better." Right? That was always the thing, right? And then I started getting into more like goal setting and wanting these New Year's resolutions and stuff. And then ironically, I started planning New Year's resolutions. And then that's when I learned about the astrological New Year. So there's like a collective shift that happens in January. And this is when it's easier to convince ourselves of who we are in the essence of who we want to become. So in January, it's easier to be like, yes, I am disciplined. I'm focused. I am building something new. I am healthy. I am a gym goer. I am getting in shape, right? Think about all of the New Year's resolutions that we hear. And when we say them, we say these through I am statements. We say these on who we are, right? Because everything feels fresh. Numeral, nu- l- nu- Through numerology, everything feels fresh. The vision feels fresh. It feels like a fresh start. because we watch that ball drop. We watch the year change. We watch the numbers change, right? So everything feels fresh. But then February rolls around. And I'm in California, so we don't have like cold winters. The joke is that we just watch winter on the news, right? But I know for several of you, you're in areas where the weather is cold. Everything is being planted. Everything is dark and gloomy and things like that. And so when February comes around, you're in this space of like, I don't feel that of which I felt at the beginning of January. You're like, I'm not feeling disciplined right now. I'm not feeling focused. I'm not, you know what I mean? I want to curl up in this snow. I want to curl up in a ball, right? And the two reasons for that, first thing is identity is not proven by your enthusiasm. Okay. It's proven through consistency. Have you ever heard the expression, summer bodies are built in the winter? And for like the health and fitness, in the health and fitness niche, I've heard that a lot. Like summer bodies are built in the winter. And that's true. You have to stay consistent even when things are like not working or don't appear to be working, I should say. And this is the part that gets challenging. We hit February. Now we're in what I call maintenance mode. We are having to maintain those same I am declarations that we made at the beginning of the year without necessarily having like proof or having results or anything like that, that it's actually working. Not to mention, it's still dark and gloomy. It's still, planting season. Which I find it very interesting. And, some people will say you don't have to go with the new year, you can go with the astrological new year and things like that. The thing I do like about the new year being in the dead of winter is it gives you an opportunity to get ahead when the spring new year comes around. That's how I look at it now. And I really just like it. I'm like, this is giving me an opportunity to be consistent and to really like figure out again what is going to shed and what is going to go with me. And I am fully prepared come March, right? Okay. So why does identity wobble when the results lag? I like that word, wobble. Why does it wobble, right? So what's actually happening is your ego needs evidence to feel safe. And I've said that before, but the ego needs evidence to feel safe. So when you're claiming a new identity, when you're claiming who you are this year, you're thinking who I am right now. And you're also thinking a little bit of the long game. It's a new year. This is who I'm going to be for 2026, right? And you don't have evidence of it yet. We are 31, 2, 3, we are 34 days into the new year, right? But a lot of you don't have any evidence of who you are yet for this year, for where you're going, right? And your ego needs evidence to feel safe. So when it hasn't shown up yet, and because we are tied to these calendars and these years and things like that, your ego starts to scan for proof, it scans for reassurance, and it's looking for timelines. We put these timelines on ourselves. We are the ones who go against nature and say, okay, it's a brand new year now. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I am this. I am that. Right. But once all of that fades away, the momentum fades away, the enthusiasm fades away, and we're wanting to get to a space where we are still changing our reality, but we don't have proof that reality is changing. We have to become grounded in what is happening right now. And this is where the power of now and those teachings come in, right? Because once you leave the present moment, your authority is gone because the only moment you have is right now. And the reason that we get off track is we start to get out of the now. We start to look at, oh my God, I'm in February and I haven't accomplished what I wanted to do for January. And then we freak out. We wobble around. We're like, well, what do we do now? Well, I'm just going to go back to what's familiar and what's safe because I'm never going to be who I want to be, right? Those are some of the things we start to think. That's just not for me. I'm not meant to be a fitness girly this year. I'm not meant to be a business owner this year. I am not meant to scale this year, right? We start to think about where we came from in January and we're acting like the whole year is already gone by the wayside. Okay. But when you're living in the future, what you're waiting for confirmation, then your identity starts to become conditional. You're not integrated into it. So this is why you'll have like good days and bad days. This is why you're like, okay, well, today I am disciplined. Tomorrow I'm not disciplined. And we start to feel like we're on a little bit of like a 3 steps forward and 2 steps back cycle, right? And so then we start to put conditions on it. Well, I'll feel confident when it works. I'll believe it when I see it. That's a big one. I'll commit once I know for sure that it's going to work for me. But the thing of it is, this is where your ego is winning because you have to stick the part, claim the identity, and stay in the identity when the reality is not reflecting it. That is how reality shifts. I think I said this, I can't remember if it was last week's episode or the week before, but I know I gave the example of when you're pretending, when you're about to fall asleep, right? You're like, I'm going to sleep tonight. What do you do first? You close your eyes and pretend that you're asleep, but you're not asleep yet. You can still hear everything going on. You know your reality is, I'm still awake right now. But that sleep is coming by you pretending to be asleep. It is no different. The things that you want are on their way by you holding the identity before it has come to you. You hold the identity of somebody who is asleep and then you fall asleep. Manifestation and reality changes work the same way. You hold the identity of the person, the woman who has it, and then you have it. And even when you're tossing and turning at night, insomnia is kicking in, racing thoughts, all the things, and you're not falling asleep as quickly because we're cyclical every night or at this every night or every morning of your night shift, we go to sleep, right? Every single day we have to sleep. And so not every single sleep looks the same. So even the nights that you're tossing and you're turning and you're like, dang, I'm not falling asleep real easy tonight. I'm real restless, whatever it is. You still assume that sleep is coming. You still assume that you're going to fall asleep at a certain time or within a certain time frame. It is no different when you're waiting and assuming the identity of what it is that you desire before you can see the results. Some moments are restless moments, and it does appear as if things are taking a lot longer than you anticipated. It does appear as if insomnia is, taking control of your life metaphorically or whatever that is, right? It does appear like that. And that's why you have to bring it back to now. What can I focus on right now? When you're trying to go to sleep, the one thing you focus on is trying to go to sleep. Maybe you make a sleepy tea. Maybe you do a little something different in your routine so that the sleep will come easier. But whatever you end up doing, it always ends the same. You lay down, you close your eyes, you pretend to be asleep. So when things start to shift and things start to change, and maybe some of what happened, last month when it came to your identity is not going to work this month, that doesn't mean you go back and you think that it's not going to happen at all. You figure out, okay, what can I change? What can I add to this while still assuming that what you want is coming? Because it is coming the same way that sleep is, right? When you step into that moment and you step into the now, what can I do right now in this moment to prepare for what is on its way to me? You're not keeping track of what went on back then and what's going to go on tomorrow and what's going on next week. You're not begging life to hurry up. You're not begging God, like, can I just have this right now? It's already yours. You're not panicking about the timing or the timeline because you're focused on who you need to be right now and what you need to be doing right now, because that is what you have. I'm recording this podcast. I have no idea how many people are going to tune in. I have no idea how many downloads it's going to get. I have no idea if it's going to bring in leads, if it's going to bring new people to me. I have no idea. I know that right now, what I can control is I can show up and I can deliver this message the way that I'm supposed to. And I can hit record, I can talk, I can hit publish, it will go out, it will go to its platforms, and then the rest is out of my control. So what can you focus on right now when you think about the goals that you set for yourself this year? What can you focus on right now? What are the controllables that you have right now? The rest is out of your control. You cannot make somebody buy your offer. You cannot make somebody enroll into your program. You cannot make somebody sign up for under your team. You cannot make somebody buy your product. But what can you control? You can step into the identity of the woman who continues to show up even when things are slow. You can step into the identity of the woman who runs a 6-7-figure business even before the bank account says so, because you know it's coming. It's as certain as you going to sleep, so long as you continue to stay in the present moment, acting as if it already belongs to you. Okay? So when you think about February, for those of you who are on the New Year thing and you're like, well, January was a doozy, And for some of you, January was not a doozy. So I'm speaking to both of you. If January was a doozy, how do we make February not one? And if January was great, how do we keep that momentum going, right? So I think February is a very important month when it comes to New Year. I think of it for two reasons. First of all, when it comes to the numerical New Year, it's the second month, right? You're already integrating. But here's the kicker. Next month is spring. That is the astrological New Year. So this is the month where you're really stabilizing and finally like finalizing these planted seeds and finalizing your identity and deciding who you want to be so that they can bloom next month, so that it can bloom come March, okay? This is the month where you get to train your identity quietly. It's less adrenaline. The hype of the new year has worn off. And if people are not into, natural cycles and natural new year, there's no hype coming back. So the hype is already worn off. There's no social reinforcement. We're not on this collective new year, new goals journey anymore, right? Like now this is the moment that's going to separate the people who stay consistent in what they wanted and the people who are like, not my year, not for me this year, right? And if you can hold your identity here in February and beyond, when no one is clapping for you, nobody is, cheering you on, nothing dramatic is happening, you're not talking to so and so and all that. The gyms are already clearing out. Like when you can hold your identity here and maintain it, then it starts to become real. This is the part that is challenging. This is why reality doesn't shift because we run back to what's familiar. And when we run back to what's familiar, we stay in that old identity because the old identity is still available. We don't have to kill it off. We don't have to let it go. It's still there. It's still there and it's calling to you. And it's so tempting, right? Like you're like, I already know what that feels like. I can either be uncomfortable here or I can be uncomfortable there, but at least I know that level of uncomfortability, right? So every time you do that and then you go back to the old identity, it's an uncomfortable comfort. Whereas your new identity is just uncomfortable. There's no comfort in it. You don't have comfort in it until you start to see results, but you can't see results if you run back to the old identity. Okay? And so this is, like I said, why I think that February is a very good and pivotal month to maintain what you set out to do this year and look at it from the perspective of, hey, if nothing is blooming yet, it's still planting season. I can still assume the identity and I can watch it bloom in spring. I can watch it bloom in summer. I can still get everything that I'm out to get. The year's not over. But aside from that, winter's not done, which is the shedding season, right? So the thing that most people miss is it's your presence that's going to keep the identity intact, which I mentioned with the power of now. I'm looking at my notes. It's not that you necessarily need more belief because you have the belief. The belief is there. The belief is in the vision, right? If you have the vision, you have the belief, but you need to be more present with the belief. I heard a saying the other day that was like, if you're going to overthink it, overthink in the positive, right? So if you have these beliefs and you're kind of overthinking your beliefs in the negative, like, why can't you overthink them in the positive? And taking it back to the present moment, stay present in right now. And reality is going to start to shift without you realizing it at first. That is the cool part. You're going to start to notice little things happen and you're going to be like, wait a second, my reality is shifting. And it's going to shift before you see it because it's going to shift in your mind first. That's how it has to go. When you're present and you're doing the things you're supposed to be doing in the present moment to get you where you want to go, you're going to notice the shifts mentally first. Then you're going to notice everything else responds to that. And in the beginning, some responses are going to feel chaotic. They're going to feel negative, but it's a moment for you to then choose how you're going to create your reality this time. I said this once and I feel called to say this again. I remember, when I first realized like that there were things that I was habits I wanted to build and things that I wanted to like manifest and things like that. I saw it through my children first. And I don't mean in like this cutesy, like, oh my gosh, they're doing it way. No, I saw it through my children first in chaos. When I declared I wanted to get up at a certain time and I wanted to have this routine and all of these things, who starts waking up earlier? The kiddos started waking up earlier on me. And I was like, why are they getting up early? I'm supposed to be getting up early. But they were the catalyst to my manifestations. I wouldn't get up early if they weren't getting up early. But in the moment, it looks like chaos. But this is how reality starts to shift without us realizing it. In the moment, it looked like chaos. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting up early. Now they're getting up early. Like, what is happening? This is ridiculous. Until I took a moment to pause and take a step back. And I was like, wait a second. They're helping me get exactly what I asked for. They're helping me step into that identity. So it comes down to how you look at it. So when you start to see things in your reality moving or changing, I want you to really take a step back and ask yourself, hold on a minute. Is this changing because I declared something new? And this is just a way for me to step into it more. Is this changing because it's actually aligning me in what I asked for? Because it doesn't always look like rainbows and butterflies when we start to get the things that we ask for. Sometimes it looks like chaos. And I think that's a huge misconception when it comes to shifting reality and, quantum jumping and manifestation. All of that is that it's supposed to be peaceful and it's supposed to, be easy and stuff. No, sometimes it looks like chaos. So many times for me, it looked like chaos, but it's exactly what I asked for. And chaos is just a perception or a perspective. I can look at it as chaos or I can look at it as, not chaos. I can look at it as peaceful. I can look at it as alignment. It all depends on how you want to see it, okay? So, the last piece, the part that no one glamorizes, which I've already really touched on, is you have to hold the identity when it's boring and when it's quiet. February is quiet compared to the new year. Okay. March might pick up again. People get into spring cleaning, and I'm not saying it's not a collective thing though. It's not as collective as the new year, but some people will get into it like, oh, it's spring cleaning, and you start to see some motivation creep back up again. I know this is very big in fitness. It's like, oh my God, summer's around the corner. Like, got to get this body right, right? We start to see motivation pick up. But holding the identity when it's boring is what actually is going to make the shift. So right now when it's quiet, right now when you're looking and you're like, there's not really an emotional payoff yet, this is the moment to stay the course and hold the identity. And this is also the moment where people subconsciously retreat back to what's familiar. So be self-aware enough to catch yourself in that, okay? Identity is not always about feeling good. I just said that. It can be chaos sometimes. But it's about maintaining and staying anchored in where it is that you are desiring to go. It's about holding the uncomfortable, knowing that it's not going to be uncomfortable forever. The best thing you can do for your life is get comfortable being uncomfortable. If you really want to grow, if you really want to change your reality, if you really want to get into new places, the best thing that you can do is start to get comfortable with being uncomfortable because each new level is going to require you to get uncomfortable. So the sooner that you can get more comfortable being uncomfortable, the better off you will be. You're like, okay, I could do this. This is just uncomfortable feelings are now so comfortable because they're just a part of life. All it means is that I'm growing. That's all it is, right? Okay. So you don't need to rush your identity. Just stay in the present moment and keep on holding the vision and maintaining that identity and watch reality start to shift around you. Okay. So I'm going to leave you with this today. Who did you decide to be in January? Are you still being her or are you trying to quietly renegotiate with her? And you can turn that into a journal prompt. Who did I decide to be in January? Write it down. Am I becoming her or am I trying to renegotiate her? And just write for like 10 minutes. See what comes through. You might be surprised. You will be surprised. Not even a might. You will be surprised at what you find. Okay. Your identity is not disappearing. It's just that your life's not catching up yet. Okay, you gotta maintain it so life can catch up. So stay present, stay calm, and stay rooted and grounded in what it is and the place that you are going. But try that journal prompt. Tag me on socials at Nikki Lynn Mayo. Let me know what comes through. That is it for today's episode of Beyond the Script. If it sounds good and resonated with you, if somebody else needs to hear it, if you've had a friend or a colleague who was like, dang, I'm not really feeling my New Year's resolution anymore, then send this over to them because there is still plenty of time. And it really just comes down to identity and the embodiment of who you are becoming and just maintaining her identity every single day and every single moment because this is the moment that you have. With that, I will see you live on Substack tomorrow for a training. And overall, I will see you on next week's episode of Beyond the Script. Bye.